Attempting to attract more visitors and improve lead conversions often means adding more features and functionality to your website. Some of these additions could create situations that could compromise security. As we continue our course, WordPress Security for Website Owners, let's dig into features and functionality that compromise security.
I mean, security is complex, since for a website to be completely secure, you would have to hide it from the world and not make it publicly visible at all.
Yeah. Well, we wouldn't want that. Hopefully the discussion so far has given our viewers a good understanding of what is involved with making sure a website is as secure as possible.
And we're only scratching the surface. Website security in all aspects is tough to cover in this short course. So in this last lesson, we'll talk about scenarios that could compromise security. This way you can start to think safety first for situations you can't predict or weren't addressed in this course.
That's right. If you are handling your website in-house, make sure you dig deeper into the concepts we've explored to better understand and implement. If working with an experienced website developer, part of their job maintaining your website will be to help you with advice, and you can rely on their direction.
So for the first of these scenarios, let's start with the desire to make access and editing your website easier. We don't want that.
We all want that.
We all want things to be easy, especially logging into the WordPress admin. You might start getting complaints if you've enabled strong passwords or two-factor authentication.
The larger your team, the more people you have working on your website, or the more users you have may tempt you to remove restrictions. Stay the course.
Make sure that your restrictions are working and have proper notices. If users have a password that is not working, the strong password plugin you are using may not have displayed an error message when that user changed their password that it wasn't strong enough. Make sure alerts are set up and password creation prompts are working.
Now let's shift to a scenario of adding in new features or plugins to give you those features. If you're comfortable in the admin area of your website, built the site yourself, or have an in-house team, it's very tempting to add functionality to your website with the coolest, latest plugin.
Yep, and installing a plugin is like creating another portal for your website. Some plugin developers can be trusted, others cannot. Not every plugin's code is the same. So you've worked so hard to have strong security methods set up on your website. Be careful about these side entrances.
Though installing certain plugins can add cool and snazzy functionality to your WordPress site, ultimately, these plugins can be used against you. Depending on your maintenance contract with the website developer, you could ask them to approve and install the plugin.
And if doing this yourself, research the plugin and look for signs that it is safe. So a couple of these could be finding plugins in the WordPress.org repository since it's a vetted source. Check the plugin's reviews, check the plugin's compatibility with other plugins or your latest version of WordPress, and check if the plugin has been updated recently. In order to be extra careful, plugins should be first installed on a staging site and functionality tested before you push it to a live site.
All in all, it may be worth the small nominal fee for having a website developer install plugins. In fact, it may be included in your web developer's maintenance contract for no additional cost if the setup doesn't take longer than a set amount of time.
Now let's move on to access. As you grow your website online, you will inevitably bring in other contractors or staff to work on the website. This is expected, it's a good thing, but it doesn't mean they should automatically have carte blanche access. When setting up a user account for a copywriter or a search engine optimization expert, for example, you may only need editor access. Same goes for hosting and domain access, which is why GoDaddy offers delegated access features.
So often contractors will ask for full access because they don't want to bother you with the back and forth, right?
No, I think it's more that they don't want to be stuck without the ability to fix the problem. Or they'll ask for all access upfront to properly evaluate the scope of projects for existing websites. Work with the contractor to understand how much access they need and for how long. This is why delegated access is helpful. Working with software and hosting solutions that are set up to allow another person to get the info they need without full access to the account.
One potential solution is to grant temporary admin or full access. Advise the contractor that you will set up the user account with admin access for a certain amount of time. Then downgrade or remove it when their contract with you is complete.
Yeah, and make it a good practice to grant the lowest set of privileges allowed for each user's task. Once their task is complete, remove their access immediately, unless of course you engage in a monthly support plan with them.
That's right. If possible, set up different logins like with FTP or File Transfer Protocol access. FTP is the way files are uploaded to the hosting server. Have a separate subcontractor FTP login credential. This way, that FTP login can be disabled after the use.
The important point for both the WordPress admin level credential and the FTP credential is that access isn't granted forever. It's also wise to make usernames specific so that you can easily remember who the user was so that you can delete that account later.
Our last scenario that presents potential compromises of security is decisions made to reduce cost. If you are budget conscious, right here, you may be frequently changing to cheaper hosting, free plugins, or canceling third-party services to save money. But choosing cheaper hosting or cutting corners on renewals may cause more problems than the money saved.
That's right. So investing in security solutions like good hosting, paid security plugins, and firewall protects the investment of your website and the business happening on it daily. Often web hosts will offer packages like with GoDaddy website security solutions that have firewalls and malware scanning. Having a website and running a business online takes investment so things run smoothly. Cutting corners in areas of security can result in having domain blacklisted, email servers flagged, or websites not loading, causing more damage and a high cost to clean up.
In all of these scenarios, think safety first. Ideally, it's best if you can work with a website developer you trust, so this becomes something they handle with advice and direction. Ultimately, however, it falls on you. Keep security best practices that could discourage any compromise lurking in the shadows.